way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay?
Come on.
You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us. This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I gotta show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR roof, don't tune in.
All right, we are back for In the News. Influential jazz fusion bassist and R&B singer Michael Henderson passed away at age 71. Henderson's Facebook was updated tonight with a confirmation of the singer's passing. It's like this article was originally written on July 19th. Singer-songwriter, bass innovator, music producer, father and son Michael Henderson has peacefully made his transition surrounded by family and loved ones today at his home in Atlanta, Georgia. Bless his heart and soul. He touched the lives of many and returned that love through his many live concerts, music recordings, social media interviews, and incessant touring, which he loved. Please stay posted for details pertaining to the Michael Henderson celebration of life. Henderson was born in Yazoo City, Mississippi in the early 60s. He moved to Detroit to play as a session musician over the course of the career. He played with Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, The Dramatics, and many others. He also released a number of solo albums, beginning with 1976's Gold. His final solo album was 1986's Bedtime Stories. Two notable songs he wrote were Wide Receiver and You're My Starship. May he rest in peace.
Ashe. All right, some innovative news coming out of Nigeria. This article was posted on July 15th, 2022. Nigerians are building earthquake-proof homes from plastic bottles, and it could be a game changer. Plastic bottles compactly filled with sand is reportedly 20 times stronger than bricks and concrete. Plastic is without a doubt one of the biggest banes of the environment. Plastic production has skyrocketed since the 1950s, and it's non-biodegradable, which means it simply does not decompose. The dumping of plastic has become one of the biggest environmental issues, but Nigeria is showing the world an amazing way to repurpose plastic for a better future. Nigerian companies are now using plastic bottles to build homes that can withstand powerful earthquakes and even bullets. The technology is called the bottle trick. The first house to be built using recycled plastic bottles was in the village of Yelwa. The house has turned into a tourist attraction, with even government officials and traditional leaders paying a visit to see the marvel. The eco-friendly home was built with nothing but plastic bottles, sand, and mud, reported Power of Positivity. The innovative method has attracted interest abroad, with Greek businessmen and environmentalists donating a large sum of money for the project. While the bottle brick, I think I said bottle trick before, but bottle brick technology might have caught on in Nigeria, it was initially tried in India, South America, and Central America close to a decade ago. It is a cost-effective and eco-friendly option compared with traditional brick homes, which makes it accessible to many. According to Yahya Ahmed of Nigeria's Development Association for Renewable Energies, plastic bottle houses cost 67% less than a home built from concrete and brick. He also added that with sand compactly packed in the plastic bottles, the homes have 20 times the strength of bricks. Ahmed says the company has already made plans to build a 3-story home using plastic bottles and mud. So yeah, that looks like a pretty interesting structure. Maybe it'll catch on and help with some of the housing crisis issues that we're facing out here in America.
Yeah, that's a great innovative structure.
I totally like it. And I know that they're working on, laws, zoning laws to allow people to build these granny flats on their property. I think that would be a great little structure to use as a granny flat on your property. So, and it seems like it's cheaper and economic, eco-friendly. So we'll see.
Jackie Robinson's widow, Rachel, celebrates 100th birthday. Rachel Robinson celebrated her 100th birthday. Is that right? Rachel Robinson celebrated her 100th birthday on July 19th. Oh, okay, yep. Rachel Robinson celebrated her 100th birthday on July 19th. Robinson, the widow of baseball racial barrier breaker Jackie Robinson, has lived a life of building her own legacy. Over the past century, she has become a registered nurse, professor, author, civil rights activist, and founded the Jackie Robinson Foundation in 1973, months after Jackie's death in 1972. I spoke with Mrs. Robinson today, the Reverend Jesse Jackson wrote in a social media post on July 19th. We had prayer together. She is one of the greatest human beings in history. She used suffering, sacrifice, and discipline for the greater good at her personal expense. The foundation has provided over 1,800 students, more than 100 million in grants to over 260 universities with a 98% graduation rate, according to the foundation's website. Man, shout out to that sister, man.
Happy born day, Rachel Robinson.
Happy born day.
Yeah, that's quite a feat, making it to be a centenarian. A lot of us are just not that lucky, like this young man here. Deadly police shooting of 23-year-old black man Robert Adams now under investigation. And this looks like it was posted on July 19th. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting that fatally wounded a black man on Saturday in San Bernardino, California. They say the man was armed at the time. The incident occurred in a parking lot around 8 p.m. and was recorded by nearby surveillance cameras. Disturbing silent footage, which shows uniformed authorities emerge from an unmarked vehicle and shoot 23-year-old Robert Adams in the back, was shared to social media and has since sparked outrage online. In the video, which lasts about 2 minutes, Adam is first seen standing at the rear of a parked car, speaking to someone he seems to know. He appears to face the unmarked police vehicle and briefly step toward it, at which point 2 officers exit the driver's side and passenger seat doors with their guns drawn. Adam turns to run in the opposite direction and moves just a few paces before one officer discharges his weapon. The bullet strikes Adam in the back and he falls to the ground. Adams was transported to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. His mother, Tamika Davila King, responded to the shooting and surveillance footage in comments to CBS Los Angeles this week. Like many others on Twitter and Facebook, she questioned the officer's decision to fire his gun. And it looks like Ben Crump is getting involved in this, tweeting out on July 18th. Police in San Bernardino, California, fatally shot 23-year-old Robert Adams execution style. It's reported Robert didn't know there were police in the unmarked car before he ran for his life. We need a full investigation into this horrific execution. And I did rip the video. We'll just take a quick look here. Like they said, it is a silent video. It did run about 2 minutes long, but I just clipped about a minute here just to show the audience.
Warning, may contain graphic content.
Okay, and like the article says, that goes on for another minute or so. Yeah, so no real interaction time, just shooting someone in the back. They say he was armed, but from the video clip, I couldn't see a weapon. So, I mean, I don't know how they would know he was armed before they shot and killed him.
Yeah, I mean, according to the video, I didn't see a weapon, and he was like running away on top of it, so.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Let's see what the investigation uncovers.
Ice Cube's alleged anti-Asian, anti-Semitic past resurfaces after news of NFL partnership. Critics have called attention to Ice Cube's alleged anti-Asian and anti-Semitic past following the NFL's announcement of its partnership with the rapper's contract with Black America Institute and Economic Equity Initiative. The Free Beacon story described Ice Cube as, quote, anti-Semitic rapper who, in his songs, has called for violence against Jews and Asians, end quote. All 3 tracks were part of his studio album, Death Certificate. The album was released on October 31st, 1991, a few months after Rodney King fell victim to police brutality in Los Angeles and escalated years-long tensions between Black and Korean community members. Several Twitter users criticized the NFL's partnership with Ice Cube following the announcement. NFL Ice Cube partner on economic equality plan, the Black Racist Bull, SHI, in pro sports is amazing. One user wrote, that's why November will be the most damaging to leftists in history. Overwhelming. Another question, why would you, NFL, hire someone who calls for violence against Asians and Jews to help with anything? One Twitter also wrote, how often do you hear about these programs for Hispanic or Asian communities, businesses compared to Black ones? Who complains about racism the most? Question. I'm not knocking for supporting Black communities, businesses, help all or none, not one. Another tweeted. To date, Ice Cube has reportedly not apologized for his controversial remarks. He has also threatened to sue journalists who described him as anti-Semitic. If anyone wants to look up, you might have to do your research on what they thought he said was anti-Asian or anti-Semitic online. But yeah, I guess that's the current controversy that's going on right now.
Seems like nitpicking to me, and what do they hope to gain from this?
Yeah, especially one of the tweets when they wrote, I'm not knocking for supporting Black communities / businesses, help all or none, but you are. I mean, that's like, stop being a hypocrite, you know?
Right.
I'm not knocking or supporting Black, but like by doing this, you're actually, knocking support for the Black community.
These people just be talking out of all sides of their mouth, but yeah, I mean, I don't see what the problem is. Ice Cube wanting to do something specifically for his people. I'm sure if these Asians, if they went and got K-pop or that other group that just went to meet with Biden at the White House to do something for them, I'm sure it would be a major success. But why, try to disparage what Black people are trying to do for their communities? Makes no sense.
There you go.
All right, what else is going on in the news? Sesame Workshop announces bias training after unacceptable video of Sesame Street character went viral. And this is also an article from July the 19th. Nonprofit Sesame Workshop announced that licensed Sesame Street theme park Sesame Place, located in Philadelphia, will conduct bias training after an unacceptable incident occurred there this past Sunday. A now viral video posted by digital strategist Leslie Mack shows a performer dressed as Sesame Street character Rosita waving off high fives from Mack's 4-year-old daughter Paige and her friend. Destiny's Child alum Kelly Rowland, Wendell Pierce, and Audra McDonald commenting on the disgusting behavior of the theme park employee. Yvette Nicole Brown tweeted, "Every Black woman was once a little girl who has made this face when the way things are for us in America first broke our heart." Sesame Workshop officially responded, issuing a statement on social media that read, quote, "What these children experienced is unacceptable. We have been in contact with Sesame Place, our licensed park partner, and they have assured us that they will conduct bias training and a thorough review of the ways in which they engage with families and guests," end quote. Sesame Place shared an initial response defending the performer's position, citing that the costumes can affect visibility and assuming that Rosita character was declining a request to hold a child for photos, which is against park policy. Quote, "We spoke to the family and extended our apologies and invited them back for a special meet and greet opportunity with our characters," end quote, the statement included. Mack slammed the response, claiming that Sesame Place never reached out. Quote, "This statement is the first and only time the family heard about this offer, and Sesame Place has cut off email communications," end quote, she tweeted. The entire statement is a lie. All right, so
Yeah, I smell a lawsuit coming.
yeah, there is a video. It's been widely circulated online, but we'll just show you here.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now. I haven't seen, the statement, but if that is correct, the statement from the park, Sesame Park. like,
Which
if that
one?
is- The one about them supposedly with the costume because they can't see it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally didn't look like that in that case. I mean, shaking hands, white folks, doing their
Right,
thing,
and I
and
know
then all
we
of a
joked
sudden-
around that maybe the costumes need a redesign. Maybe they just can't see darker skin through the thing. They can only see light, bright white skin, so they definitely need a redesign so these characters can see and interact with everyone appropriately. And this poor little darling Paige here, the disappointment on her face. I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, this is just conditioning from a very young age, just not to expect nothing to go your way. I mean, this Twitter comment where they said, Black women have always experienced that. I got to thinking, I was like, yeah, I mean, they get you experiencing this kind of disenfranchisement franchisement from a very young age. So as you get older, you just grow not to expect anything. I mean, just
It's like building up some resistance,
right, building up a thick skin, which is what they say Black people always need. So that's very, very unfortunate again. And this little girl, her little friend over here, is looking at her like, did that really just happen?
It sure did.
And in other Sesame Street news, since Sesame Street has been trending for the last few days, this is an article that was recently reposted online from 2019, The Unmistakable Black Roots of Sesame Street. Making its debut in 1969, the beloved children's television show was shaped by African American communities in Harlem and beyond. 40 years ago, upon the 10th anniversary of the debut of Sesame Street, the New York Times offered an appraisal of the revolutionary children's television program, reminding readers that the show with universal appeal initially declared its target audience, quote, the 4-year-old inner city Black youngster, end quote. This year, as the show commemorates its 50th year anniversary and it's broadcast in more than 150 countries, it's worthwhile to take a look back at how, since its inception, Sesame Street has been rooted in African American culture, more specifically, the historically Black community of Harlem. The New York City neighborhood played such an outsized role in development of the program, from the set design to casting and marketing. The answer to the question from the Sesame Street opening song, "Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?" ought to be Duke Ellington's "Take the A Train." So again, Black people were the inspiration for everything, but now heavily co-opted and ignoring the Black community from where they derive their inspiration. So it's just foul all around.
Speaking of foul, what Bret Farve did is intolerable. U.S. House Rep Benny Thompson urges Department of Justice for a detailed investigation in welfare money scandal involving the NFL legend. The people of Mississippi... let me start from the top. Without a doubt, Favre, ex-NFL football star, is a very influential man with connections to the very top. A while ago, Mississippi Today had reported that they obtained a few text messages that showed Favre briefing Governor Bryant about the flow of state grant funds to his drug project. Back in May, it was reported by Fox News that the Mississippi Department of Human Services will sue Bret and 37 more people or companies for misspending funds that were supposed to be utilized for the welfare of poor families. The aim of the lawsuit was to recover around $20 million from Farve and other named in the case. The people of Mississippi deserve answers, and accountability for breaking the law must be upheld for all who were involved, especially for Governor Bryant, Thompson claimed. Till now, Farve has paid back over $1 million, but around $228,000 in interest have not been paid.
It's pretty shady. So where'd the money go?
I don't know, but I would assume in somebody else's pocket. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, it's a developing case, so keep your eyes on it. All right, and here's another, just a little bit of Twitter news, a tweet that I saw. FBA says, pull up summer. Then here comes these creativity lacking folks talking about pull up and vote. And then the tweet goes on to say it's still no tangible, no vote. So this ain't gonna work. But the reason I pulled this is because it looks like, just more appropriation of our language and the culture to pander to us, to get us to vote for a bunch of nothing burgers. I mean, unless, like this tweeter says, there's some tangibles on the table. We really have to think about voting for these candidates. Some of the comments on Twitter, proof that they were watching our every move, and they claim that they are not paying attention to us. That's crazy. They're using a term to get us to vote. Now pull up and vote. Seriously. So those are just some of the comments. So don't be surprised if you guys see a major pull up and vote campaign. Just don't fall for it, fam. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Black News Channel officially headed to Byron Allen. Entertainment Studios Networks is officially the successful bidder for Black News Channel, setting it up to be the future home for the network. The bidding deadline for the $11 million in assets was set by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Florida was July 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. The court received no qualified bids during the period outside of the one already received from ESN. With that, it canceled the auction previously scheduled for Tuesday and is moving ahead with actions to officially approve the buy. Just to note, this article looks like it was written on July 14th. ESN did have some competition for the network, with Ebony Studios also actively pursuing a purchase of the assets. But the latter wasn't able to finalize an agreement before its limited exclusivity period on June 3rd. The acquisition will add 300 million linear and digital subscribers to the Allen Media family, thanks to Black News Channel's carriage on traditional linear packages through the likes of Comcast, Charter, Cox, and Verizon, as well as on platforms like Roku. Founder, CEO Byron Allen told Cable Facts that the cable industry, quote, dropped the ball, end quote, when it comes to Black News Channel, claiming the network went into bankruptcy because operators didn't want to pay sub fees. If you really want something to succeed and you don't want to find it in bankruptcy and they're pink slipping 300 black journalists, yeah, there should have been some sub fees, he said. This is the reason I sued the cable industry for $40 billion. Are you serious? Question mark. You're going to pay anywhere from 1 to 2 for other cable networks, but 0 for Black News Channel. That's a question. End quote.
You think it's gonna make a difference? This change in ownership?
Okay, this is my opinion. This isn't on behalf of
Well,
UNSC
you're
group.
certainly entitled to that. Your
Yes, this
opinion.
is totally my opinion. With my opinion, no. I mean, the good thing about Byron Allen is he does have access to a lot of these other larger distribution channels. So on that note, I think it might make a little difference, but I mean, historically, let's just keep it real. I mean, you know, usually the content coming out of Byron Allen hasn't, made any like huge waves or anything. So I mean, the good thing is that, seems like they'll get more access, which is good. But I mean, look, if the BNC, they weren't really making too much headway anyway, then, but I mean, I really didn't watch a lot of their news stuff, but I guess other people did. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I'd have to see the ratings.
I mean, I think that's why they tanked is because the numbers weren't there in the ratings. I never really watched the BNC either. I tried, but it was a lot of, POC, All Lives Matter, just the whole talking points that we hear all the time. And I mean, it just was not popular with the, the viewing base that it was meant to serve. So I think that's what happened there. So I don't know if Byron Allen is going to make changes based on that, or we'll have to see.
I know it didn't hit the grassroots community, so I don't know. Well, good luck with them. I hope that by Byron Allen buying their company, people will have jobs and people will continue to be able to support themselves, and if they have family, their family. So that's a good thing.
What people? I mean, we've seen his staffing lineup.
Well, I'm in particular talking about the BNC staff. Well, if you're talking about specifically, his I'm talking about Byron Allen. Yeah, his staff is predominantly non-black. So,
right, and now that he owns the BNC, I mean, he gets to staff who he wants.
That's true.
All right. Also in the news, California Secretary of State sued after $18 minimum wage fails to make November ballot. California Secretary of State Shirley Weber announced last month that a measure to increase the state's minimum wage to $18 an hour failed to qualify for the November 2022 ballot. Now advocates of the proposal are suing her. Entrepreneur Joseph Sandberg and Orange County Democratic Party Chair Ada Brincio argued in a Thursday filing in Sacramento Superior Court that they received over 1 million signatures, more than enough to secure a spot on the ballot. California law requires proponents to submit signatures well in advance so that county election officials can verify a random sample by June 30. The $18 an hour proposition missed the mark, instead qualifying for the 2024 ballot earlier this week. But Sandberg and Brisino alleged that COVID-19 conditions impeded their ability to quickly gather signatures. They also blame Weber for failing to communicate to counties, which are tasked with certifying signatures, that the initiative was meant for the 2022, not the 2024 ballot. Because petitioners were late presenting their signatures, it wasn't until May 31st that Weber told county election officials to verify them. At that time, Weber gave officials 30 working days or until July 13th to complete verification. That would have been fine if the petitioners were trying to put the measure before voters in 2024. Weber neglected to mention, Sandberg and Brisino say, that they were trying for placement on the 2022 ballot And so their real deadline was June the 30th. So if I read that correctly, it sounds like they were the ones that were late submitting their signatures. And then they expect Dr. Shirley Weber, Secretary of State Shirley Weber, to jump through all types of hoops to, accommodate them and their inefficiencies. Is that what you got from the article?
Kind of sounds about right to me. I mean, I'm just confused. I have to kind of look into this a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, if it didn't pass, let's see, $18 minimum wage fails to make November ballot. Yeah, I mean, okay. We got to get it on the next go round.
Which it sounds like it is going to be on the 2024 ballot. So again, my question is, what do they hope to gain by suing Secretary Weber? I mean, what could even come out of this, this case this seems to be meritless case? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What would the accountability be? I mean, unless they're trying to push it through so it gets on the 2022 ballot. But so that's one to keep an eye on too, to see. They're suing Secretary of State Shirley Weber. Clearly she has more important things to be worried about. So, we wish her the best in this fraudulent situation. All right, so that is in the news.